Hey y'all. So I recorded this video a few times now, and then I just haven't posted it because I haven't felt like what I said was the accurate thing to be saying. Julian just climbed over the footboard onto the bed. Anyways, so I'm trying again, and these are just my thoughts on. I don't know why I'm holding my tablet, but these are just my thoughts on everything that's been going on lately. That door stop behind my head looks weird, but it's okay. Let me put it this way, and hopefully this makes sense. Julian is one, and little boys, little black babies go from adorable to scary real quick. So for me personally, we know that the protests are amazing. We already know that Black Lives Matter. We know that that stuff is being said. But what I want to speak on, or I'm not even going to say being said, is not being said enough, which is why it's such a big deal right now. But for me, from a personal perspective, outside of the fact that I'm a black woman and outside of the fact that I'm engaged to a black man, I just want to focus on my black son. So the scary thing for me is I remember having I don't remember the exact moment, but I remember having my first interaction with racism before I was 10. I was really, really young. So realistically, I know Julian probably only has about 5 years before he and his dad and I have to have that talk with him, which is sad. Because you think that that's too young to have that conversation, but in reality, it's not. He's definitely going to have that conversation given to him by the time he's in like first grade. Let's be honest, because a lot of us have experienced that by that point. It's a little heartbreaking that is a conversation that he has to have, but it's not going to get any better. Let's be honest. For there to be a serious change, our entire culture, our entire world has to change. And a lot of people who are in positions of power are not ready to lose that position of power. A lot of people who are in the capacity to make those changes, they don't want to make those changes because of the risk of losing that power that they currently hold. So the fact that we have to prepare ourselves, I have to prepare myself for that. I can't speak on Andre because he experiences it on a different level. But for me, he's a cute baby. You know what I mean? And he walks around Target and whatnot now because he thinks he's a big boy and can take his own steps and can walk around by himself, walk around life by himself, things of that nature. But I know, where are you going? That those same white people who see him walking around Target today and lean down like, oh my God, he's so cute. In a few years, they won't think he's that cute. And that's just the reality of the world that we live in, unfortunately. And so it does put me on edge because I have to prepare myself to experience the same stuff that I experienced with my partner, with my son. And what I mean by that is, before Rona hit and people could actually leave the house, whenever Andre would leave, I would say, text me when you get there. Text me when you're on your way home. Call me when you get there. Call me when you're on your... Let me know you made it there. Let me know when you're about to head out so I can know how long it should take you to get home. Things of that nature. And it's not because I want to know where he is or what he's doing at all times because I think he's doing something he has no business doing. It's just because that's the reality of the situation is a lot of black people don't make it home. a lot of black people don't make it wherever they were on their way to. And so I try to put us in situations to where it's never a situation where I don't know where they are. And so the reality of having to have that conversation with Julian eventually, it's scary. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I have no idea what that conversation, like, it gives me a panic because I don't know what that conversation should be. It's a conversation I've never had to have, especially because I don't see danger when I look at him. I see my son. I see my beautiful son who's so full of life, and he's so full of love, and he just wants to play, and he just wants to laugh, and he just wants to watch Sesame Street and Blue's Clues, and he just wants to drink milk, and he just wants to eat veggie straws and fruit snacks. That's what I see. And fruit cups. That's what I see. I don't see danger. And I know I'm not trying to be naive because I know what world we live in. And I was telling my sisters, I have to prepare myself for that moment because I know it's coming. He's gonna have that moment where he comes home and he's like, why did this person say this to me? He's going to have that moment where he's like, why did that person do this to me? How come they didn't get in trouble for this, but I did? And we have to figure out how we're going to have that conversation with him. And in reality, it may seem like he's only one. Why are you thinking about that right now? But I was younger than 10 when I had that first moment of racism. I remember that. I don't remember how old I was, but I was definitely younger than 10. And it's a scary feeling to have to I have to let him go into the world eventually and hope he makes it back to me. And in a world where a lot of our black people don't make it back, especially our black boys, that's one of those things that just eats at me. It really does. It just eats at me. And his dad and I have talked about what that conversation will be like and when we should have that conversation. And his dad, who is just like every black guy I know, he's one of those people who've had interactions with the police before just for being in the wrong neighborhood, even though it's the neighborhood he lived in, and things of that nature. So, and I don't know who has seen my fiance before, but he is a guy he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Honestly, he is probably, no, he's not the nicest, but he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And when we're in public, he's one of those people who does not believe in smiling in public. If he and I are sharing a joke or a laugh, then he'll chuckle, but he's not somebody who's just walking through the grocery store like this. Like, that's not him. He's always on alert when we're out. He always has a straight face when we're out. He always is very focused. So his face always kind of looks like this. And he's not that tall. He's only like 5'11". But he has really, really broad shoulders, and he people find him imposing. Like, people who are not black find him a very imposing figure. So he does have those moments where when he's in public, people will look at him and like walk off to the side, or he'll say hello to somebody and they won't speak to him and they'll just look at him and like look like, so he he does have those moments. And I think that's what's crazy, is because I know Julian's gonna have those moments too, because it's his dad. And everything Julian is learning about how a man should be is based off of his dad. Not saying there's anything wrong with my fiance not being friendly in public. My dad's not friendly in public, so that's very normal for black men to not be friendly in public. But he is being raised in an environment of men who are not friendly in public. And so I don't expect any different from him. So I expect for him to get those looks. I expect for him, when we were at Target the other day, him, me, and my sister, Julian was standing next to a little boy who was clearly older than Julian. The boy looked older than Julian. His face was more, his features were more defined than Julian's. Like if you look at Julian, he still looks like a baby. But this person, they looked like they were like 2, maybe 3 at the oldest. But he was so small. Like, if this is Julian, the little boy, I love you. The little boy probably came like to here, but he clearly looked older than Julian. Like his features were more structured. He didn't have like this doughy baby face look that Julian still has. And I was telling Titi, that's my sister, my younger sister, I'm like, Julian is so much taller than that little boy. Like, so in my mind, Julian's gonna be tall. And I expect for him to have that same look of focusedness in public. And I try not to think about it too much because it does kind of make me a little sad. Because once again, he's innocent to me and he's just my baby. But I know that we're going to have that conversation with him, and that kind of rocks me to my core because I'm not going to be naive and feel like we shouldn't have the conversation. We for sure going to have the conversation. It's just, it makes me sad that I know no matter how prepared he is for those moments, he's gonna have to experience those moments. I don't think I know a black person anywhere in the world who hasn't experienced those moments, male or female. I don't know anybody who hasn't experienced that moment. So knowing that someone so pure and so innocent and so untainted is going to be tainted by the world breaks my heart. Because I feel like every mom wants their baby to grow up and go into the world and come back full of life still, come back happy, come back with such positive mindsets and such positive thoughts. But the reality of the situation is I know Julian is going to come back to the world. He's going to go into the world and he's going to come back to me tainted. He's going to come back to me and there's going to be a part of him that's the shell of what it was when he went. And it's something that I have to prepare for. It's something that his dad and we talk about a lot because, why are you messing with my camera? We know it's going to happen. And trying to pretend that it won't is naive on my part. I can't do that. And I know we are all saying we want change, but I don't feel like that's possible. Because what we're fighting for today is what this country was built on. And in order to get that change or see any type of change, you have to go back to the beginning and be really willing to do the necessary groundwork. You can't live in a house and the structure's bad and you want to fix everything but the structure. It's still a bad house. And until the powers that be are willing to address that, like for example, you had leaders freaking kneeling today on social media with dashikis, with kente cloth around their neck, as opposed to being like, okay, let's put some changes in place. Let's put some laws in place. You're kneeling like you aren't the powers that be. What are you kneeling accomplishing? You are the people we're trying to reach out to. You are the people we're trying to get to make change. And you're kneeling. So, that's all I wanted to say. Make sure y'all vote. Make sure y'all, if y'all want to protest, get out there and protest. Make sure you share every link that you can share. Make sure you donate the money, whatever money you have to donate. Don't let people feel like because you don't have $1 million, you can't donate. You can donate $2. You can donate $5. Whatever you have to give, if you do that. Whatever is in your means, or bless you, baby, whatever is your version of participation in this movement, let that be that. Don't let anybody discourage you from or make your way of participating feel small. If you're the person who's just making the catchphrases for the signs that your friends are going out there holding, whatever. Because it's all important. Right, Pooh? He's trying to balance over here. But that was my spiel. I don't know. It's hard to kind of convey my thoughts because I'm not going to get emotional on camera. I refuse to do that. So it's hard to kind of convey my thoughts on the issue without getting emotional because I have a black son. And because he's only 1 now, and I see so much potential in him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I see the pain that's bound to come. And I have to foster both of those. I have to make sure he's living that potential, but I also have to make sure he understands what pain comes with being a black man in this world. And one, honestly, is not more important than the other. You can say that you want your child to get a great education and be in all these extracurricular activities and live this lavish life and unlimitless life. But then you still raise someone who goes out into the world and doesn't understand their place in that world. And you don't want the world to teach them what it means to be a black man in this world. Because that's going to come with pain regardless. So he may as well learn it before he leaves the house. So he knows where that energy is going to come from. I've learned that in the short time of being a parent, I don't want him to go out into the world and they teach him. They're going to do what they're going to do. So I know I have to do what I have to do. And it does freak me out. But like I said, that's the world that we're currently in. So I just wanted to come on here and just kind of get some of my thoughts out. Because I feel like it's important. So I will talk to y'all later. I'm not going to do my normal sign off because I don't feel like that's appropriate for this video. But I will talk to y'all later.